Hey to YouTube, this is Sign18 coming with you with another deck profile. Today we're doing a pure Cray Elemental, as pure as possible Cray Elemental deck. Now I was inspired a few days ago when my friend challenged me to build this deck purely with as much Cray Elemental units as I possibly could, focusing more on the Cray Elemental side of the deck than the actual units of the other clans that I have to mix into this deck, seeing that we don't personally have a lot of vanilla Cray Elemental units to work off of. So this deck, I'm going to say this now, this deck is not 100% complete. I am still waiting on a few parts here and there. I will go over the few parts that I am waiting for and things like that, especially within the G zone. But the main deck is kind of completed. So we're going to go over what's in the main deck mostly in this video. And then I will be posting another video in the future when the deck is closer to being completed. So look forward to that video. As always, like the video, subscribe, ring that bell button so you're notified to whenever I post up a new video. I'd like to thank all the new subscribers that I have gotten in a few weeks. I will be doing a thank you video in the future once we get to that 100 subscriber mile mark. And hopefully with a little bit of luck, we'll be able to do another special. But without further ado, this is the purest possible Cray Elemental Premium deck. So first off, we're going to start off with the 4 copies of Thunder Elemental Bargain. So Bargain is your boss unit for the Cray Elemental deck. Back in the day, we never had a grade 3 Cray Elemental before. So he's our first Cray Elemental grade 3. So Bargain has a very, very unique skill. When placed Soul Blast 1, look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Search for up to 2 units without constant act or auto abilities from among them and reveal them and put them into your hand. And then shuffle your deck. So whenever he's rolled or just placed on the Vanguard Circle, he immediately allows you to +2. Then his act skill. If you have 4 or more rear guards without constant act or auto abilities on Rearguard Circle, Counterblast 1, stride a face-up Storm Element Cyclone from your G Zone as your Vanguard. So he allows the pseudo stride ability for the stride Cray Elemental that the deck is focused around. Unfortunately, I don't have it yet. When I do, you will see that in the future video. So right now, we're just going to focus around the Cray Elemental units before I go into what clan I decided to go into to support this build. So next, we play 4 copies of Cloud Elemental Newark. So Newark has a very simple skill, is that when she's on Vanguard or Rearguard once per turn, if you have 4 more other units without constant act or auto abilities, Counterblast 1, search your deck up for 1 Elemental Bergen, ride it as stand as the Vanguard. And then if you rolled, you may turn up 1 Elemental Cyclone from your G-Zone face up. So she allows you to keep going into Bergen to allow you to keep flipping up Cyclones once every turn. So if you have her, I'm most likely going to put her in the back row. That way every turn I can just keep fishing these out of there and keep going into Cyclone plays. Next, we play 4 copies of the only vanilla Cray Elemental, Light Elemental Miroka, or Mikarika. It is just a simple grade 1 8K vanilla. It would be great if Bushiroad gave us grade 2 vanillas as well, like they do in vanilla grade 2s and 3s, like they do in Zero, in the online phone app game. It would be great for this deck. But nothing much said about him. He's just an AK vanilla. Next, we play 3 copies of Water Elemental Mistral. Mistral is a very, I would like to say, very funny card. It works a lot like a card in Nubatama, or Murakuma, I'm not really sure. But it has a very simple skill. On Rearguard, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, at the end of each turn, that means my turn and your opponent's turn, both players must discard their cards up to 8 until both players are holding 8 cards in their hand. This is mandatory. So what does this mean is that no matter how many cards your opponent has or anything like that, They are forced to discard at the end of each player's turn down to 8. This deck does not draw a lot of cards, so most likely you're always going to end up with at least 8 cards, so you're not going to be losing out a lot. But your opponent who are playing those big hand decks, they're going to feel the pain on this. And that's the reason why I play this card. It keeps your opponent in check into what they can and can't do. Next, we play the 1 copy of Light Elemental Hanali. Hanali is here just for the simple fact of the reason that if you're playing against like an Excel deck or something that multi-attacks, Hanali keeps them in check. So Hanali's skill is all rear guards cannot attack the Vanguard in the 5th or more battle unless you pay a counterblast. And then when this unit is placed on rear guard, choose a face-up card in your damage zone. Sorry, choose a face-up card in your damage zone and turn it face down. So there's a cost to be playing this, that it turns one of your cards face down. But its constant skill works for both players. So this deck does no more than 3 attacks on usual. No more than 3 attacks. So if your opponent's playing a lot of Excel units or multi-attack strategy, they're going to need to pay the cost just to keep those attacks going. And finally, for the grade 1, I play the scorn of everyone's existence. I play the 1 Rain Elemental Zazan. We all know what Zazan does. So, Vanguard Vigor, 1 place, Soul Blast 1, call up to 2 units without any constant or active auto abilities from your hand, and if you call 2, turn up a Storm Elemental Cyclone from your G zone face up and draw 2 cards. This is a 1 in a million chance of hitting this early, but we play this card just the fact that it runs. It's for this deck, it runs well in this deck, and it's an Cray Elemental. Now the last Cray Elemental we play in this deck is I play the 1 Cray Elemental Over Trigger. We all know what it does. So that is every Cray Elemental that I play in this deck. Now I'm going to show you what clan I decided to splice in this Cray Elemental engine into. I chose Gold Paladin. So, as the backup grade 3 to the deck, I chose Knight of Flying Rings Imdu. So Imdu is a very good backup unit. Simple for the fact that when placed on Vanguard, when placed, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, when placed, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater on G on the Guardian Circle, he gains 10k shield. He is a 10k shield in the form of a grade 3. And then his rear guard abilities, when this unit attacks, you may put another unit into your soul, give it plus 10k, and then at the end of the turn, bounce it back to your hand. So not only he's a 22k beater, he's a 10k shield, and then he allows me to bounce him back out to the hand to use for later for stride fodder. So he's a great backup grade 3 for this deck. Next, this is our vanilla package. I play 4 copies of Holy Mage Induf. I play 3 copies of Unbending Liberator Kratic. And then I play 4 copies of Spiegel. So this is our vanilla package. A 12k grade 2, a 10k grade 2, and a 7k grade 1 with 15k shield. Next, I play the starter. For triggers, I play the 30k Sentinels, 4 crit, 4 heal, and 4 front. Fronts are just for more defensive oriented in this deck, but we do not dislike not having them. I think we do not dislike not having them in the deck, so they work out pretty well. So that is basically the main deck as of right now. Things can change in the future. Better ideas, things like that. We'll see what we come across. But I've been testing it back and forth, seeing what I could change in the deck and things like that. So, like I said, do you have any suggestions down below of how I can play this deck any better? Keeping in mind that I'm trying to do pure Cray Elemental as possible. And keeping it in the deck fun. Please let me know down below. I did not go into the G Zone because the G Zone is not complete. I'll just give you a quick picture of what I've had so far. So this is what I have so far for my G Zone. Still trying to get there. The G Zone is going to be pure Cray Elemental. Nothing else added into it from Gold Paladins, but pure Cray Elemental. Meaning you're going to have to play very wise and very smart about which units that you go into. So if you guys like what you saw, please leave a like down below, subscribe, ring that notification bell so you guys can be aware when I post up my next profile on this. And as always, we'll see you later.